everybody. Welcome back to the Swamp Road Podcast. My name is Jamie Santamore. I'm the host of the show. This is episode 1 of season 1, and for this season, I'm going to be talking about 10 of my favorite science fiction movies. For some of you, these might not fit into your version or your thought process of what science fiction is, but for me, they are. Some of these might be considered action movies or even monster movies, but they're science fiction movies to me. I talk a little bit in this episode about my father, and I just want people to understand that when I speak about my father on this show or any show in the future, I'm actually talking about my stepfather who raised me from the time I was 8. So if some of my verbiage and some of my stories don't tend to make sense to you, that maybe a father wouldn't do that or say that, it's actually my stepfather that I'm talking about. So I hope that clears up any miscommunications. If not, if you need clarification, feel free to comment below and let me know. I will try to explain things in a much easier or flat way so it's understandable. I hope you guys enjoy the show. First up is a film from 1984 directed by James Cameron, which he also co-wrote with Gail Ann Hurd, as well as William Washer Jr., who provided additional dialogue for the film. And of course, the film I'm talking about is the classic The Terminator. Throughout this show, you guys will notice on the screen, I will be posting some interesting Did You Know facts about The Terminator. I hope you enjoy them. If you do, let me know. If not, also let me know that you did not enjoy them, and I will try to find some other way to fill the visual aspect of the show. I wasn't really comfortable last week with the during the launch show, where I was posting the Did You Know fun facts about myself. If that's something you guys enjoyed, let me know. I can continue to do that as well. Now on to The Terminator. Starring, of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger as the title character, Linda Hamilton as Sarah Connor, and Michael Bain, I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, as Kyle Reese. This movie changed my life. Now, you got to keep in mind that I did not see this until years later because of my age when it came out in 1984. I believe I was only 6. So I didn't see it for another 5 years maybe. 88, 89, somewhere in there. But this movie, it made me understand so much about the world that we live in. And I remember this when I saw this movie for the first time with my dad. My mom had left me with him because it was a snow day from school and she had to go to work. They were only dating at the time. I was still calling my dad because it's easier than saying my mom's boyfriend, who would later become my father. Anyways, on a snow day, he was not really good with us at the beginning. Didn't know what to do with us, so he rented movies. And one of them was The Terminator. We watched this movie and we ate day-old cold pizza and had root beer for lunch. And we watched the movie, and I can remember going to school that Monday and looking at the teachers and the adults and thinking, any one of these people could be a Terminator. Any one of these people could be a cyborg. And I looked at people differently for a very long time watching this movie. Or after watching this movie. It's funny, there was a guy that lived in our apartment building, and I thought for sure he was a Terminator. He walked differently than the rest of the people around me. His moves were very robotic. I don't know if he's like a method actor or what, but he was also a fan of the movie. And I thought for sure he was a Terminator. Because he moved out of the building without even saying goodbye to anybody. It was really weird. The action in this movie I thought was really amazing. It was intense. The shootouts with the police were amazing to watch as a 9-year-old kid. And I understand that here we are in 2020 with everything going on in the world. Terminator doesn't necessarily hold up by today's standards. It's inferior, and I understand that. But back in 1984 and even 1989 when I saw this movie, was absolutely fucking amazing. My wife and I actually just watched the Terminator trilogy of the Terminator T2 and Terminator Dark Fate over the last couple of nights. 3 nights, actually. Uh, and those are the defining movies of the Terminator series. Not that there's anything wrong with the other three films. There isn't. I enjoy those as well. But Terminator, T2, and Dark Fate are the only three that I own in my home video collection on DVD and Blu-ray, respectively. And if I want to watch the other ones, find them on HBO Cinemax, Netflix, Hulu, wherever I can find them. Now, I want to discuss 5 things I love about this movie, followed by 5 things I didn't like about this movie, I disliked about the movie. First thing I loved was the Terminator, and I can't imagine anyone else playing the role of the Terminator. Although I think Stallone would have made a good Terminator. But to me, Arnold is the Terminator. He'll always be the Terminator. No matter what else he has ever done in his career, he will be the Terminator. And I think, when Schwarzenegger passes away, I think it's going to say in his obituary, known for playing the Terminator. The second thing I enjoyed in this movie was the action scenes, mainly the opening bar scene with Bill Paxton, the late Bill Paxton, who did an amazing job for such a short amount of screen time. You remember that scene. I thought it was really well shot and planned out very well. The story of the movie is another thing that I really enjoyed. As a 9 or 10-year-old kid, I thought the story was cool. And to this day, now I'm nearly 42, I think this movie is still cool. Linda Hamilton as Sarah Connor. This role was perfect for her. I believed in my heart that she was a fragile young woman who, through the course of the film, finds a strength that she didn't even know she had inside her to survive this horrible ordeal. The last thing I enjoyed about this movie, and these are in no order, just 5 things I came up with. Michael Biehn as Kyle Reese. I love the character and his devotion to Sarah, someone he doesn't know, simply because John Connor sent him back to protect her, and how he embraced that mission, protecting somebody he doesn't even know. Now, it's going to be strange because I had a hard time finding 5 things I disliked about this movie. And usually the movie critic in me can find all kinds of shit that I dislike about movies. So first up is the criminal psychologist Silberman. I fucking hated this guy from the word go. And of course he appears again in Terminator 2, Judgment Day. But I just wanted the Terminator to fucking murder this guy when he does the whole thing at the police station. When he does the attack on the police station, I wanted Silverman to die so fucking bad. I didn't like the phone call Sarah makes to her mother. It really bothers me. And I know why they did the scene. It was so the Terminator could find out where she was. But to me, Reese would be smart enough to tell her, don't answer the phone, don't make any phone calls, don't answer the door until I get back. I think Reese is smart enough to have made that decision, but, I mean, it's a creative choice by James Cameron, and I understand that, but I just didn't like it. I also didn't like the lack of talk about Cyberdyne in this movie, and from what I understand, reading things on IMDb, some of the trivia, the whole destroying Cyberdyne thing was supposed to be in this movie, but it was held over till T2. I think more talk about Cyberdyne, not necessarily destroying Cyberdyne in this movie, but more talk of it would have made more sense. Kyle Reese dying. I understand why he had to die and why he did die. I just wish it would have done... I would have liked to have seen him be in T2. Even if he dies at the beginning of T2. It would have made more sense to me. I understand, again, why they killed him and the impact it has on the story about John never knowing who his father is. But it makes sense to me in that aspect. I just didn't like it. Again, as a 9 or 10-year-old boy, it didn't make sense to me. As an adult, it makes more sense to me now. As a screenwriter, it makes more sense to me now. The last thing I didn't like in this movie is the lack of screen time shared by Reese and the Terminator. I would have loved to see those two fight it out more hand-to-hand or even in a shootout. I think it would have been more impactful for the movie. And overall, I think this movie is fantastic. I can't really gripe about too much. And these 5 things, like I said a few minutes ago, it was hard for me to come up with these 5 things that I disliked. So those were the 5 things I disliked. As far as the box office, this movie was a huge, huge success. On a estimated budget of $6.4 million, it grossed a little over $4 million its opening weekend, and gross total in the United States, 38.3 million. Worldwide, 78.4 million. So I mean, that's a success, and explains why there was so many sequels. And it's a story that resonates with people, even if they change it a little bit here and there between movies. You know, going from one movie to another. It's a story that we can all understand. It's a story that we can all feel. What if machines fought back? It makes a lot of sense. And there are people, I know people, that think that this is a possibility. But at least now we have a blueprint on how to destroy them fucking Cyberdyne motherfuckers. So anyways, folks, that is my video, episode 1 of season 1, all about the film The Terminator. Please feel free to leave your comments below, like, share, and subscribe. Remember to click that little bell so you're aware when I upload new content. I'll be back with another show next week. I am not exactly sure which film is next on the list. I don't have the list in front of me. But that's my show. My name is Jamie Santamore, and you have been listening to the Swamp Road Podcast.